My guest this week is David Pajo. David is an artistic force and has been a huge part of the creation of some of the greatest music of our lifetime. Whether it was his work with the seminal band Slint, his solo work and albums and live shows as M, Ariel M, and Papa M, or being part of recording and live tours with Gang of Four, Will Oldham, Tortoise, Stereolab, King Kong, Rail Trucks, Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and The Four Carnation. Over the years, David has remained one of the major architects of modern composition and where it will travel into the future. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome the revolutions per movie, David Pajo. Hi, David.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a long time coming. I'm totally honored. It's going to be interesting today because you have an inside look on the film we're going to be talking about, Half Cocked, a very personal look at it. But before we get there, I wanted to ask you about creating this album right here.
Oh, yeah.
The last record you made, Ballads of Harry Houdini. I get the record, and then the first song, Thank You for Talking to Me, parentheses, When I Was Fat. 8 minutes almost, and it's like, and then it's like, and that's like, and I'm like, I know that the album was, they were like, you didn't do it on a computer, right?
That's right, yeah.
How do you know when you're self-recording and doing something that's going to be that long form? What's the chicken and egg for a composition like that? Because it's such a killer song to start the record off with.
Oh, it's way easier than it seems. Like I usually, like, especially with that record, like I just wanted to. I've been practicing improvising more for like the last like 1 or 2 decades, and
just a little.
Yeah, but I mean, because I've never been really good. I never thought I was any good at it, but that's why, like, I felt like with Slint, we figured out every fraction of a second of what we were doing, you know,
right?
But we tried to make it feel natural and like kind of almost like it was improvised, like or just more natural, like, because we can't. I think we are good at improvising. We just didn't do it a lot. We weren't really interested in it that much. But I like with that record, it's really easy to just like, you write a song and then you're like, okay, this section I just want to go to Mars on, you know, so the bass and drums can just lock something in so that I can go to Mars, you know, and I'll do it for I'll do it for this many minutes, and then like coming out of it's a little tricky.
Right. That's what I wondered. Because like, where do you know, like, I mean, you're not just looking at a timer, you're just feeling it at that point when you're playing in a void.
There's little cues that like the drum might do a fill, and that means that the change is coming up. Like, you got to lock in now, or you can write in a section where eventually the guitar starts playing the riff again. Then everybody knows, you know, that we're coming back.
Yeah, it probably seems very naive, but I'm just always like in awe of something like that. Because especially when it's built layer by layer, it's like you're not coming in on a 4 or an 8. It's like 13,
yeah,
or a 5. It's like a feel thing.
Yeah.
So I always wondered, like for that song, for instance, was it mostly one take kind of situations, or were you like, I'm going to try it again, I understand it more?
They were mostly one take situations. Like
wow.
But I didn't do any punch-ins except for the second song, because you could hear like a pop when I would turn on a distortion pedal.
The Ode to Mark White song?
Yeah. But like otherwise, I would, you know, when I would do a guitar track, I would have to play it right. I would have to play it from start to finish. And if I liked that take, I treated it, the recording, like a tape machine, like, you know, where in the old days, you know, you just had one shot at it. And then if you fucked up, you went and you tried it again, but you had to go over the last take. So you had to make decisions. Right. So if you went over a take that you thought was great with something worse, you know, it's like, you're kind of fucked. So you had to, it's good because it made me work harder as a player, and not using a computer. My main reason was, I just didn't want to see blobs on a screen anymore. Like, as music, I wanted to just like use my ears. Actually, if I'd mixed it looking at blobs on the screen, it would sound better, the album. But, I think, but like recording it, I really liked not like, I prefer mixing and editing like on a computer, but, and I think I'll do that next time, but like, recording without a computer is great. I think like getting the basic tracks, it just forces you you just have to get it right and make decisions and commit.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I mean, I've talked to filmmakers who worked in film originally before moving to video, and they, through the osmosis and practice of editing like 3 frames of a film out or imagining a crossfade, things that they couldn't see in real time, they had to just think that might work. It would go to the lab, they would get it back. Then when they shoot on video now, they still think that way. They've learned, it's not like they overshoot. They learned how to get this kind of magic sense of time through an older practice, but it's in a funny way. That's kind of like with hardcore and Slint and stuff like that. Those practices that were maybe a little like, especially with Slint, where it was very meticulous and you guys rehearsed and you knew the shape and the space of things. It probably has a direct effect on like how much you kind of let go now on something improvisationally.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just because that, it was so rigid. And I feel like with Slint, part of the reason I think we never moved on stage was because we were so focused on not fucking up, like even with the reunion tours, I had to have a cheat sheet for Nosferatu Man, just because there's no pattern. It's, have you heard of through composing?
No, what's that?
It's like it happened with operas and stuff where they don't repeat parts. It's kind of like soundtracks where it's just like one long riff, that never kind of repeats itself,
Okay, right, sure. I've heard musicals like that. It's moving constantly and changing throughout the piece.
Yeah, and that guitar part is there's only like 1 or 2 parts actually play, but I might have to play it 2.5 times, and then I switch to this other part, and then I go back and I pick up the half that I left off, and I play it 3 times, and then I go to the other part again, and I do that 1 time. You know what I mean? Like it's
sure.
But it only happens that 1 time in the song. That structure, so you just have to memorize the entire thing. And on stage, I would just get stage fright or something. So I had to have a cheat sheet just to make sure I didn't get lost, because if I got lost once, it would just throw me off for the whole rest of the song.
Right. Well, I'm warning you. When I talked to Todd Brashear, he said if you guys play again, he's decided he wants to move around on stage more.
Oh, good.
He was like, I've decided, because I was asking about that, and he's like, oh, nowadays I would totally move.
Yeah,
it was so interesting. I was like, wow, that would change the visual identity quite a bit.
Todd actually had a good idea. It's an idea we never acted on, but way back in the 80s, when he wanted to play a show where we all wore beer helmets and drank 2 beers during this, like while we were playing with the straws and everything,
That's one of the things that's so overlooked with Slint. Yeah. Because when we were young, we were goofy, and Slint were funny. Like today, posted online on the Slint Instagram, it's like the photo of Todd in the van with a piece of paper that says, "Our dicks are useless," and he's smiling big, and he's telling me stories about like, Urge Overkill being like really big supporters of the band, and then, like you guys get up in Chicago, and you're like, yeah. This is how much Urge Overkill is paying us, and this is how much they're making. And it's just like, I remember that energy where it was just part of it was like the banter and the electrifying feel of like, oh, nothing's sacred. This means nothing because where do we go with this? So we've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, that's I think we're definitely like pranksters, but. That's our sense of humor was central, I feel like, into Big Black and all those like pig fuck bands. Like it was all about humor, essentially. Like it was really about, that same show where we were like, we're getting paid $50 and Urge Overkill is getting $1,000. That was a ton of money to us back then.
Yeah.
And I made a boing sound on the guitar.
Yeah.
But that same show, there at the end of Nosferatu, man, we'd get feedback for a long time. And Brian and I would do this thing where we'd knock in sync on the guitar in different places. It wasn't, and it was recorded, but we faded it out. There's actually a long feedback part at the end of Nosferatu, man. And Todd and I and Brian made some choice before the set to pretend that we're twiddling knobs and flicking switches on our guitars and doing all this magical stuff, but never actually touched the guitar. So during the feedback, we're doing all this stuff and nobody noticed, it's like all these in-jokes, and it really didn't matter if anybody else noticed. We were just making ourselves laugh,
Right. Oh, it's so funny. Speaking of not touching a guitar, we've talked before about Andy Gill's performance in Erg.
Yes.
And how he has this moment where his hands just move in front of the guitar and he's not hitting it. And I remember I was probably like 13 when I saw it. And I was like, I didn't know you could do that. Like, it was
Totally.
so, like, in the history of rock, no one has ever done that.
I know, yeah.
And his stare across the thing. And I just, you joining them on that tour, talk about a band that has movement. What was that like to go to something that was just so kinetic and had probably historical resonance with you?
Oh, man, I can't thank Gang of Four enough for kind of opening me up on stage in a lot of ways, because I've always had like crippling stage fright, but I was always really good at hiding it. Like the entire time I was in Tortoise, I played with my back to the audience. In Stereolab, I played with my back to the audience. In Aerial M, I started to turn around. If I was standing up, I started playing in profile. And the only reason I remember was because there was NME had posted an article that said, David Pajo, like Aerial M's David Pajo has gone from playing with his back to the audience to playing in profile, and had a picture of my profile. And it was the funniest
the NME. So delightful.
Yeah. The big news. And I was just happy they noticed. But so I slowly started turning around, and so, but like they made me, John King was just like, he gave me like kind of he and Andy's approach to playing live. And it was like, and I think he said he learned it from David Thomas, Perubu, where he's like, you have to piss on your territory. You have to claim your stage, and you have to mark off where the lines are by walking. And that's your territory. And like, that's why like Andy would walk to the edge of the stage and like stare people down and stuff.
Wow.
But like that like not touching the guitar thing, like, cause his hand would move away from the guitar. And unless you were watching, if you were just listening, you wouldn't notice. But like, it was so like when Andy pulled that move, I had the exact same experience as a young man. Just like, I didn't know you could do that. That is fucked up, and so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the way they come in, on the very opinionated Look at Erg, a Music War Patreon show I had do for this show, myself and my co-host Chalky listened over and over again to that song. Is it When He's Sent in the Army? Is that what it is?
Incredible song. We
were trying to figure out when it comes in, because it's like, it's not on a 3. It's not on. It's like,
yes.
I was like, it's just like, and we listened to it like 3 times on the show, and we're like, and we'd be like, okay, 1, 2, no. But they just knew, oh God, just to get in between those little time signatures. It's just incredible.
They had that, just that, when it's the right group of people, they just had that sync. They just all knew each other so well. But that song was really tricky for me to learn, because
I bet.
I listened to a million live, like every version I could find, and I watched every YouTube video and like looked at where his hands were on the neck, and it's kind of different every time they play it. Well, it is different every time they play, especially live, depending on how fucked up we were,
Right.
But he always came back in, and it would be cacophony. It would completely collapse at moments, and they would always come back. And I sort of figured out the cues and like playing with each other. I also figured out that when they practice for a tour, the song will alter a little bit depending on how they remember the song. So they aren't like adherent to the recorded versions. Like,
right.
So that's, like the version was just a snapshot of that literally that place and time, how they were playing that song.
Yeah. Compared to the EP and the re-recording, you're right. Absolutely different. And the Erg one is still my favorite version of that song.
Totally,
because it's just, wow. Like that film, at that point, you're getting like Cramps, Para Ubu, and then it's just like, it just ups the ante, and Devo. And then it's just like, Gang of Four kind of just wipes it all clean again. You're like, okay, this is the most dangerous futuristic thing I've seen now, because it's so funny, that film just, oh my God, just in my DNA. And it was funny when we posted the show, I got up in the morning and saw that Hugo Burnham had joined the Patreon and was commenting on the episode saying, actually, the cocaine use came in on Solid Gold, and all this stuff. And so he was so great. And he did tell me, he said, tell Pajo we miss and love him.
I just sent a message to Hugo today.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was some artist that I heard about that's from, I think is in his same age group, that went to Leeds Art University. I was just wondering if they knew each other, if he had any. But yeah, Hugo's amazing. And like the more I got into Gang of Four after being into, like, I was a huge fan, especially in college. But like, and especially as I got into Big Black, because I got into stuff sort of backwards. I got into Big Black, then Gang of Four.
Right. Sure.
Which, Albini totally honors him on that song Cables. I don't know if you know, it starts with a
absolutely
guitar solo.
Yeah. No. I mean, I totally get it.
Yeah. With that, that was when I was like, you can't play guitar like that. I love it. And then I was like, oh, he got that from Andy. So yeah, the more I played with Gang of Four and spent time with them, the more I love them. Like, I cannot love them more now. Like they were just, the four of them were just like gods, like.
Yeah. I mean, the ultimate chemistry band. Yeah. Reading John's book that came out recently, it's just so funny how, like, you read his book and there's like, there's like 8 pages where it seemed like it was kind of fun. And then the rest was like really hard.
Yeah.
There's just a little blip. And I'm like, oh yeah, bands could be like that.
Yeah.
You get to, all of a sudden you're stuck with a bunch of people you barely know. And then you're like, okay, well, this is the band. I guess we're going forward with it. Oh my God.
Right. I haven't read it yet. I feel like I know a lot of his stories, but I can't wait to read it. I'm kind of waiting till I see him in person so he can sign up for me.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I want to ask you also about how you feel. This is kind of a funny question, but what your relationship is like to a guitar. Are you the kind of person that has it like in your arms a lot throughout the day? Because for me, I have a really adversarial relationship with a guitar. Like, I pick it up rarely. I put it away because it makes me not feel good because I'm not creating anything I like.
Right.
And so I'm like, damn it. And I just shove it away. But then I'll go visit, like Peter Buck. And it's like every time he opens the door, there's a guitar around his neck. He's always playing. And he's just really, it's like a part of him. Have you had it be a friend, foe, a tool? Like, where are you with your guitar work? Because I feel like when I think of guitars, I think of you a lot.
Oh man, it's my love for guitars has reached like it's like psychotic now. It's like a neuroses. I should show you my house. I don't know how do I turn off my background?
I have no idea.
Yeah, because I'll do it later. But I can. I'll send you some photos. Like my bed is just covered with guitars.
Wow.
John King was like, Hendrix used to sleep with the guitar. I heard, and I was like, man, I've slept with the guitar like almost my entire life, like because I just play, fall asleep, and I set it next to me, and I wake up and play a little more.
Sounds lovely, actually.